Signs that you may have borderline personality disorder. Keep in mind this is often confused with bipolar, but one's a mood disorder and the other one is a personality disorder. So let's get into it. Number 1, you have a fear of abandonment. Number 2, you experience sudden mood swings. Number 3, you have chronic feelings of emptiness. Let's break down each one. So first up, this fear of abandonment. Where does this come from and how does it impact you today in your current life? So when you have a fear of abandonment, it's going to be hard for you to put up boundaries in a relationship. This goes for dealing with romantic relationships, dealing with friends, parents, and this often comes from that childhood trauma. When you were a kid, there were people who were supposed to look out after you and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So because of this, the trauma compounded over time and it became a personality disorder. So it affects you today because now you struggle to put up boundaries and you struggle to sometimes even like yourself. And you'll do things that you might be embarrassed about now, but you think back on that moment when you did something that wasn't self-respecting or you feel like you let yourself down, but you wanted to do anything but lose this person or lose this relationship. So that fear of abandonment keeps you stuck and it'll have you in places that aren't good for you, around people who don't have your best interest at heart. But this is one of the key things that you see with somebody who has BPD. Number 2, sudden mood swings. This is probably why people think that BPD is bipolar and vice versa. So with bipolar disorder, you can have mood swings and you can be irritable, but this is within the context of bipolar, right? So you would have a manic episode, either a manic episode or a hypomanic episode. When you have BPD, you don't have mania. Mania is a distinguishing feature of bipolar disorder. So when you have BPD, you have these mood swings, but they're often rapid. So the mood states in bipolar disorder can last for a couple of days to a couple of weeks. However, with borderline personality disorder, these mood swings can be sudden. This is somebody who is feeling good and all of a sudden they turn on a dime. Something set them off and they could be upset for a couple of hours. And then maybe a few minutes after that, they feel great. These are sudden, abrupt mood swings that can be confusing for the person experiencing it and also for the people around them. Number 3, chronic feelings of emptiness. So when you feel empty all the time, this can mess with your identity. This is often why a lot of people who have BPD feel like they're searching for themselves. And the reason why BPD relationships can be so intense is because you're searching for yourself through other people. And anytime we get into a romantic relationship, we do enjoy the versions of ourselves that we see when we're around that person. That's why we like them, because they bring out this part of us that we weren't able to see before. However, when you have BPD, it's a little different because you tend to be a bit more codependent and you search for yourself within this person. And you often get to the point where you feel as if you cannot maintain and function without this person. And we do need each other. Everybody, whether you're a sibling or whether you're a friend or whether it's a romantic partner, people need people in this world. However, when you tell yourself that you need a certain person or a certain thing to survive, it makes it hard to keep the other party accountable. So this is why a lot of people who have BPD tend to get into relationships with people who have narcissistic tendencies. Now, they may not be a full-out narcissist, but they have a lot more of these narcissistic traits and tendencies compared to the neurotypical person. So these are a couple of things to look out for if you think that you may have BPD. Keep in mind, it's not a mood disorder, but it's a personality disorder. So we don't have any medications for it, but sometimes we will use meds to help stabilize somebody's mood.